As you can see guys, I have grown a moustache in honour of Morgan Gibbs White. Couldn't quite go for the full beard, but I thought this will do, because that man has one hell of a moustache. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Charlie K YouTube channel. If you're new around here, why not hit the subscribe button? It would mean the absolute world and would be great to have you around. So I'm going to set a like target today. 15 likes in today's video would mean the absolute world, so yeah, that little button down there. Go for it. So what we're going to be analysing today, guys, are the first 3 games of the Premier League season after 23 years away for Nottingham Forest, just in case you hadn't realised. And 6 different things we've learned from these 3 games. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this first section I've called Welcome to the Premier League, and what a return it was, for good and for worse. I think we put a really good display in terms of the fans. Probably not on the pitch though, and I think that was probably a bit of a wake-up call for me certainly, and hopefully some other Forest fans. Hopefully I wasn't the only deluded one. My God, it was a step up and a half. I think a few things to take away from that game was the fact that we are going to have games where against the better teams we're going to have a very, very small amount of possession. You can see that so far with an average possession of 44.7 as opposed to the 50.1 we had last season. Obviously we're going to have less in the Premier League, but then that comes with a different playing style, and I think we are going to find ourselves on the back foot a lot more, and I think it's going to take a lot more pace and a lot more speed to progress further up the pitch. And I think for that reason, less of an involvement from squad players from last year. I think Johnson, Yates and Worrell are probably shoo-ins for 80% of games, be that a substitute appearance or a start. But I think the likes of Jack Colback, for example, who was fantastic for us last season and was a really good replacement for Max Lowe in left back. I'm not sure where Colback fits in this year personally when you look at the cover we've got in left back and the central midfield depth, which we'll go into in a little bit more detail later. I think the reliance on the players from last season is probably not going to be as heavy, and I think that first game showed that. And we're going to have fewer chances as well. Obviously less possession, we're not going to be attacking quite as much. Fewer chances are going to be created, and with that we need to be more clinical, which is probably something we can improve on right now, and that's not a criticism of Awoniyi or any of the forwards for that matter. If you look at how clinical we are right now, just 6% shot conversion rate compared to 13 last season. So if we're going to do well, we need to be putting our chances away. The second lesson we've learned so far is that Dean Henderson is an absolutely phenomenal keeper. And this was a transfer that sort of confused me at first, because I thought we had a Premier League quality goalkeeper in Brice Samba. I didn't think there was much point of selling him and getting a loan. But my God, was I wrong. I used to be quite a critic of Dean Henderson, and I take it all back. 3 games has shown me enough. All I need to see to know that he should be on the plane to Qatar at the very least, and I think starting. And SofaScore and other statistics would agree with that. He's currently ranked the 3rd highest Premier League player on performances so far, behind Kevin De Bruyne. So, you know, he's in good company at the very least. I think a big thing is you look at last season's statistics, and Samba and Horvath were making 2.8 big saves per game. This season, Dean Henderson has already averaged 6, which is obviously very telling about how many shots we're letting opposition take against us. But the fact that we've only conceded 3 and 3 would suggest that we've got a very, very good goalkeeper on our hands, if you pardon the pun. And that's only further backed up by the 86% save rate, which is, you know, up there with the world's best. We're talking Ederson, Alisson, not De Gea. I was going to say De Gea. Definitely not De Gea. The likes of those sort of keepers, really, really, really impressive stuff from Dean Henderson, and I think he's going to get better. He's still a fairly young goalkeeper. I really want us to hold on to him. They say never fall in love with a lone player, and I think this could be last season all over again in that circumstance. He's made 18 total saves so far this season, with 11 coming from inside the box, which means when teams are able to get past our defence, which currently they're probably getting past a bit too much, and getting into goal scoring positions, Henderson is a very, very reliable goalkeeper with an 100% successful run-out rate as well. You sort of feel comfortable even if they get past that we've got that last line of defence in Henderson, and that's a huge thing to have in the position we're going to be in for most of the season. So yeah, with a current match rating average of 8.03. Question to you guys, is he the best keeper we've had since Peter Shilton? Certainly since I've been going. I think you look at the greats in my time, like Lee Camp, Doris de Vries, Carl Darlow and Samba, and Dean Henderson in 3 games I would say has blown them all out of the water. I have been so impressed by him. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. The third thing we've learned is that Nico Williams is what I've called on my script Jed Spence XL, and there is a better way of putting that, and I'm not sure what it is, but you know what I mean. He's an improvement, and a big improvement I think. And that's not saying that I don't like Spence. I am gutted for Spence currently in his current role at Spurs. I was hoping he'd be a shoo-in to start, to be honest. I think he's better than Doherty, and the fact that he's actually been told he can go out on loan, I believe, and he's been angry with that, and hence why he wasn't in the squad. But we're not talking about Jed Spence, we're talking about Nico Williams and how fantastic he's been for Forest so far. And if you look at his crossing stats, 39% accuracy on crossing, and that might not seem very high, but when you think about the positions he's crossing from, it's almost just over the halfway line in the opposition's half. And we saw that a few times against West Ham, his ability to just whip balls in from anywhere. With a 39% accuracy rate for that is going to provide a massive, massive output for assists this season, and I can see him doing very, very well. So if you've not already, get him in your FPL. He's also averaging 4 tackles per game, which is a very solid return, and is doing a lot of the defensive work that possibly Spence was lacking last season. I think Spence was a very good attacking player. I think Nico Williams has both. I think he has the defence and the attacking output. I think for the price we got him, was that maybe the signing of the summer for us? Let me know what you think. Just leave loads of comments, to be honest. Lesson number 4, and this is going to be a controversial one, but I think the right one is stick with Joe Worrall. And I've seen a lot of hate on social media for Worrall at the moment. And maybe not hate, maybe that's a strong word, but criticism certainly. Or a few mistakes he's made and sort of being caught out of position a few times. But I just think that's part and parcel when you step up to the Premier League, and it is going to take time to adapt. I think the thing to remember is a lot of the core players that were with us last season haven't ever played Premier League football and are going to need this time to adapt and understand the speed and the pace and the sort of aggression that is behind this league. And that's going to take time, and I think we're seeing it with Johnson as well, possibly a bit of a slow start, although he did score at the weekend and it was a great finish. And I think the criticism of Joe Worrall right now is possibly a bit premature. I think he, as a Forest fan, will know that he's not had a great couple of games, and will look at what he can be improving. Him and Cooper will work through that, and they'll adapt the playing style to suit both Worrall but also the team, and ensure that we only get better. So I'm confident. And to be honest, guys, he's been the Premier League interest for, 3 or 4 seasons. You look at Burnley and Newcastle. I think he was very close to signing for Burnley, either last January or the January before. And he's not. He stayed with Forest. And hopefully now he'll be rewarded with a long spell in the team. And I think he should be, because he will be brilliant for us. Just give it time. So the 5th and penultimate lesson that we've learned is the importance of strength in numbers. And that's very easy to say after losing 6 or 7 of our core players last season because they were on loan. We've had to sign a lot of players, 16 in total, which I believe is double anyone else in the league. But it's been necessary, and that's all I'll say on that. But if you compare here the benches of the West Ham and the Everton game, I think if you look at the West Ham bench, I don't think relying on the likes of Cafu, Lyle Taylor, Oliver Hammond, who is yet unproven even at championship level, I'm not sure they're the right kind of players we need to be bringing off the bench. And then you look at Saturday's bench against Everton, and it's a completely different story. Emmanuel Dennis, Morgan Gibbs-White, Ryan Yates. Suddenly we're looking a lot more comfortable and able to bring these players off the bench. And I think Remo Freuler, when he gets a bit of a run in the team, will be absolutely incredible if his reputation is anything to go by. So I'm very excited for that. When you look at the depth within that midfield with the likes of Freuler, Mangala, who look incredible by the way, I think possibly again, along with Williams, possibly signing of the summer. But Freuler, Mangala, Yates, O'Brien, Cafu, Kouyaté, all of these players are going to be fighting for 2 positions, and that's going to be a really, really interesting battle, and will hopefully just drive them all to be better and better. And whilst it does seem quite overwhelming that we've signed so many players, I think the competitive nature that this squad is going to have is only going to help players progress and adapt to the Premier League quicker, which is very, very exciting. I also want to talk about the Lingard versus Morgan Gibbs-White debate, because both of those are probably going to be deployed typically as a centre attacking mid, and it'll be interesting to see how we can fit both of those into the system that we play. I think we saw that we can do against Everton on Saturday. I think when Morgan Gibbs-White came on, he made the absolute world of difference. That run down the left, which he then crossed in, but no one met, that was just a glimpse of what I think he's going to be like at Forest, which is very exciting. But I think Lingard is able to add a bit of pace, a bit of experience and knowledge to how Premier League football works. So if we can find a way to combine the two, as we did on Saturday, I think we've got a very, very strong midfield. But it is, of course, at the expense of who? Who knows? But yeah, hopefully we see the introduction of Freuler and Dennis in the Grimsby game in the week, just for a bit of match time, just a bit of match fitness, and to see how they fit into our system, because I just want everyone in, I want everyone challenging, And next man up, I think, is the philosophy we'll be following again this year. Worked well last season, so why not this season? And finally, guys, the sixth thing we've learned so far is that we are the best fans in the Premier League, and I will completely back that. I think the West Ham game in particular, the reason we got 3 points in that game was that the crowd was driving the team on consistently and pushing us on for that victory. And Everton and Newcastle fans would probably agree. I think if you look on social media, there's a lot of good things being said about us right now, and that's going to be key this season. Being the 12th man is going to be such a big role for the fans, because there are going to be games, as was the case against West Ham, where we need that force, that noise to intimidate teams, yes, but more to drive the players on, to inspire them to play for the shirt, to die for the shirt, as these 30,000 fans would do on the sidelines. Wow, I cannot speak highly enough of the fans right now. It's an exciting time to be a Forest fan, but we're making the most of it, that's for sure. So yeah, my final thoughts and predictions are that it's been an interesting 3 games. There's been highs, lows, and just sort of mids, as you'd expect with a win, draw, and a loss. But yeah, there's going to be a long season. We're going to have loads of all 3, I'm sure. And it's about how he reacts to each game, how he adapts to each game. And I think with a manager like Cooper, we'll do very well. I think if you look at the signings we've brought in, spent over 140 million now, I think it is, if the Morgan Gibbs White add-ons all come on. I don't think internally the likes of Marinakis, Murphy and most importantly Cooper are going to be happy with the sort of just survival. I don't think we're going to be happy with just survival, and I think that has been shown by the intent that we've had in the transfer market and the players we managed to bring in. None of these players are coming for a relegation battle, that's for sure. So a bold prediction for you guys, but I am going to say that I genuinely believe that 14th place is probably the minimum we're going to get this season, and I hope I've not jinxed it, but that's a confident Forest fan for you. Do I think we'll challenge for Europe? I think it might be a season or 2 too early, but why not? Why not? We can only get better under Cooper. I think he's a fantastic manager with a fantastic squad now. But yeah, just exciting to see what the future holds, isn't it? So yeah, that is the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with my opinions? Are there any sort of predictions you have for the season? I'd like to hear them. I'd like to get you guys involved a bit more on the channel. So yeah, hopefully some interaction there. As always, guys, thank you for all your support. Please do leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Come on, you Reds.